Good evening. I'm Roger Fairborn, and welcome to our annual meeting. This evening, we're looking forward to taking an opportunity to introduce you and show off some of the creative ways that the museum volunteers and particularly the staff have helped us to make it through the last year with the COVID-19. And as I might indicate, they've done a spectacular job of taking that proverbial sow's ear, that rotten luck, and turning it into some fabulous opportunities. We're going to introduce you to a number of folks this evening that are going to give you some real insights to the status of the museum right now and what's going on and what's coming to what's on the horizon. You'll see there's some very exciting projects coming. Tonight's speakers will include our executive director, Sarah Hall, our Agneta M. Steinschreiber curator, Dr. Daniel Folco, and business manager, Nancy Motherway. We hope to share stories that are going to reaffirm for you our vision to awaken, to inspire, and to uplift through the informative power of art. We're very conscious that everybody has been spending a lot of screen time on Zoom meetings and so on. So we're going to limit our program to about 40 minutes, a little bit longer perhaps, and then we're going to roll into the raffle, which is always one of the highlights of the year. So we're thankful for all of your support, and we hope you enjoy our program this evening. Thank you. Before I hand it over to Sarah, I want to reiterate my thanks to you for being here to listen tonight. Our members, our volunteers, and our community all come together to make us what we are. We have lots of stories to share among our communities, and we like to think that the museum does a great job of reflecting that character and the neighborhood around the museum. Many of you have your own personal stories, whether it's elementary art, schoolwork and things like that, whether you came for a particular exhibit that you loved, or whether you just come to hang out with the Norman Rockwell. We work hard to make the museum a part of your life and the life of the community. Thank you very much. On September 16th, the museum will be, excuse me, I missed this page. The museum will be exhibiting or celebrating its 90th birthday. That's 90 years of free admission to the museum. I'd like to think that we probably over the course of 90 years have positively impacted 1 million lives, perhaps more than that. Those of us on the board of trustees, the museum staff, and the volunteers all feel very privileged to work at the museum and to share the treasures that this museum holds with our community. I'd now like to offer an opportunity for Sarah Hall to address you and to give you a thumbnail sketch of just how well the museum is weathering the storm. So Sarah, take it away.
Hi, everybody. Since this is set up as a webinar tonight, I can't see you. And as you all probably noticed from while we were waiting for everyone to log on today, it's a little odd when you can hear people and can't really participate in the same way as on a Zoom meeting. But we weren't really sure of the numbers, and we wanted to have a platform large enough to fit anybody who might want to log on tonight. So I want to start by saying how happy I am to be part of this community and also part of this talented staff, some of whom you will meet tonight, all of whom had a hand in all of the things we're going to talk about tonight. When I was going through the search process for this job, the search firm described the museum as punching above its weight. I'm a pacifist, but I understand what that means, and I can now confirm that. With what in the museum world is both a small budget and a small staff, this group accomplishes Herculean feats. With the help of our very strong board of trustees, our energetic board of advisors, our dedicated volunteers, the teaching artists we work with, and many of you out there who support us with your time, your financial support, and your expertise. I've met some of you, but I suspect I haven't met most of you. In these odd times, we're still carefully monitoring the county positivity rates. We're rotating our time in the office in order to de-densify the spaces. That said, the museum is open, and you'll hear later that we have some truly exciting exhibitions and programs on the horizon. So I've made you look at this slide for a long time. It's an architectural rendering of the museum from 1931. And if the speakers are covering the comments, you can probably move the faces away so you can read. It's an Instagram post. We featured it on our Instagram page early in May as one of our Art a Day challenges. Museum educators created 75 days of unique Art a Day challenges early in the pandemic to help engage children in learning during those first uncertain and frightening weeks of lockdown. When the museum closed, we quickly realized that our work needed to continue by rapidly accelerating and amplifying our digital footprint through social media, our website, through email newsletters, and our YouTube channel. We were thrown into the deep end of the virtual pool, and we needed to learn to swim quickly. So you're going to hear about some of the creative things we did. But before I get into that, I'm going to take apart our mission a little bit. So why can't I get the next slide? Yeah, there we go. Here's the mission on the screen for all of you. A nonprofit organization serving the public good, the mission of the Washington County Museum of Fine Arts is to provide a vibrant place for the presentation and exploration of art of lasting quality for the benefit of a diverse public through intentional art collecting, lively interpretation, diligent preservation and care, active educational programs, and opportunities for social interaction. So now I highlighted in red those sort of active parts of the mission, and we're going to look at them. So serving the public good, the Saturday morning youth program, which we alluded to when we talk about children's art being in the museum. 4 generations of folks from the county have had their art or their children's art or their grandchildren's art displayed in the museum. It's a really wonderful kind of binding community experience, and it's been going on, I think, since 1933. So it's a fabulous tradition that I'm really proud to be a part of now. A vibrant place. Jillian doesn't know that I put this slide in. She took this selfie when she was working on Halloween in front of this really astonishing study for a mural that was part of our Seldom Seen exhibition, which inspired her Halloween costume. It is a vibrant photograph, but I think it shows both the energy of staff here and the fact that even during a COVID lockdown, we're trying to be creative and have some fun. And I think this was probably our most liked Instagram post when Jillian took this photo and put it up. And presentation. I think the Schreiber Gallery is one of the most iconic spaces in the museum. It's the kind of space that when you're a kid and you walk in, you feel like you've entered one of your storybooks. It's a place that sparks curiosity, and it's a special space in the midst of a museum with a lot of special spaces. Exploration. This is a fantastic sort of photo collage we just had on Facebook with Callie Mealy, who is our educational engagement coordinator. She has been working so diligently to put together what are called art investigator bins that are going to go with the Joshua Johnson exhibition that opens this weekend. These bins will go into the classroom and allow students and teachers to do hands-on learning, trying to sort of figure out through clues what sort of person Joshua Johnson was. And this gets coupled with virtual field trips into the galleries. So it's a combination of kind of introducing aspects of the museum to the classroom. I think as a kid, how fun this would be. There's blacksmithing tools, there are pigments, there's samples of lace because he was renowned for painting lace. There are copies of his manumission papers because he was a freed slave. So there's all sorts of good stuff in there for kids to dig into. Art of lasting quality. I love going on social media, I will say, and pulling images to illustrate my talks because I feel like it's a little bit of looking at the pulse of what's out there. On the other hand, this is from my own Facebook page, but I did this on Inauguration Day. I went out and looked for America in the galleries. And so I found fantastic examples of American art in the galleries that day. And you can find all sorts of wonderful things in our collection. Diverse. Now, I will admit I've gone back to 2020 for this image, things that happened before I was here, but we have kids at, I think it's Polished and Prime portfolios there on the top right, a program we have for middle school kids preparing portfolios for submission to BISFA, Barbara Ingram School for the Arts, or other specialist arts high schools. And then on the bottom, we have folks at a public presentation in the atrium during Blues and the Abstract Truth. Collecting. I just had to share this mouth-watering photo of one of our recent gifts to the museum. Michael and Ennis Merson just gave us this beautiful piece of art glass from around 1915 with these gorgeous enameled birds, and what could be a more beautiful image to share with you. Lively interpretation. Here is the author, Jan Brett, zooming live onto a laptop in the gallery where her work is hung, with our educator facilitating a conversation with Washington County Public Schools. There were hundreds of folks on the public schools platform that day, and I will tell you later how many people have watched the video since. Diligent preservation. Daniel is going to talk later about some projects in particular. So a lot of these things I won't go into great detail, but this is our Jasper Francis Cropsey painting, which was underwent conservation, I think, last summer and returned to us in the fall. Daniel and I did a Let's Talk Art program with the conservator who worked on this. So if this is something you're interested in, you can find that video on our website or YouTube page and learn more. I can't, it's educational programs, just simple. Here we have kids doing day camp, I believe it was, virtual camp from their homes. I will tell you, they pick up supplies here, they do the projects, you know, in tandem with instruction online, and they are happy kids. So, you know, it's not the best of times in terms of human interaction, but there's lots of ways of making connection, and certainly creativity is something that helps us get through hard times and cope with problems. Social interaction. Here's a picture of a family visiting Jan Brett together. I've been saying this for months. The museum is open. Our attendance is down, of course, but I think it's a really safe place to go, and it's a healthy place to go in terms of your mental health, giving yourself some space for imagination and reflection and just getting out of your own head for a little while. To awaken, inspire, and uplift. Now that is our vision. That is what all the activities of the mission are intended to awaken, inspire, and uplift. And so we have this wonderful story, this email we were sent from a woman. I wanted to tell you how amazing of a sanctuary the entrance of the museum is for my 4-year-old son, Jason. He's nonverbal and autistic, and this is where I bring him when he has a meltdown at the park. He has a particular favorite spot to calm himself down, right next to his little friend. I thought those involved with this area may appreciate how the art calms him. So you don't know, we talk about metrics a lot, and what are metrics for cultural institutions, and we talk about attendance a lot, and I just was talking about how our attendance is down 75%, but you know, you can put thousands of people through the door, you never know the one person whose life you've made a difference in, and that qualitative impact is really, you know, what museums are all about. So now I'm going back to that was all sort of ad lib. Now I'm going back to reading a script for you. We've cultivated our museum mindset here and reminded ourselves of the work of museums. And now I'm going to talk a little bit about how we responded this year, although I think you got that through a lot of the pictures I've already shown you. This is a look back to the start of the pandemic. It's a museum that was not only closed, but secured. Some valuable artworks were deinstalled and stored. Security measures were put in place to further protect what was left on display. Most of the staff telecommuted, but security shifts were increased to better monitor the closed building. We also did a lot of maintenance while we were closed, exterior pressure washing and painting, interior cleaning and sealing of the atrium floor. We tried to tackle all the things we could while we were closed. And I need to give Mike Churchy credit and Rebecca Massey-Lane credit and Nancy Motherway, who were all here during those first weeks of closure, figuring out how to deal with it constructively. So this is a selection of some of the ways we stayed connected during the closure. I talked about Art a Day. Remembering Earth Day was one of the Art a Day challenges. Having virtual art education and art sharing. As I mentioned, every happy, proud face just thrills me. We had some silly meme type of social media posts. We did Freaky Fridays and Silly Saturdays. And we collaborated there in the bottom left corner with the city and the Arts Council on the photo marathon, which generated new photographs for the cultural trail. Whoops, sorry, I went. Adapting. Here you see supplies for summer camp ready for pickup. Each youth art education program was launched with a carefully planned introductory day. Parents and kids would stop by the museum and briefly meet their teachers and pick up their supplies. This year, we also began a new program funded by the Community Foundation of Washington County. We worked with Bester Community of Hope South End 21 to provide after-school art education. It's a time when kids are being pushed online all the time and often are reluctant to even log on for regular school. So when that after-school program began, we were getting about 5 kids. But it was such a compelling program that by the end, we were regularly having 30 students show up for it. So we are offering the program again this spring with a new theme. So this first one, the theme was overcoming adversity. The second one, the theme is mindfulness throughout, sort of teaching about emotional intelligence and how paying attention to the way you feel impacts your relationships with others and the ways we can learn that through looking at art. We have an art therapist working with our education team on that. We also collaborated this year with the Fulton County and Washington County libraries on educational programs. Now, of course, it doesn't want to advance to the next slide. And here's the results of one of those programs. You can see we could use some improvements in our technology, and we're working on that because the teacher is doing demos right into a little iPad right there. But again, you see happy, proud faces sharing their art. I love, love, love this slide. It is a comparison of 1956 and 2020. On the left, you see Bruce Etchison, and on the right, Kelly Mealy. It's a powerful visual reminder of the museum's deep connection to collaborating with the public school system. In a typical year, we would serve between 6,000 and 7,000 students through field trips to the museum. This year, it took a bit of time to figure out the logistics of providing live interactive virtual gallery tours. But by October, we were bringing students into the galleries again through Zoom. We've also recorded a lot of programs for use in the classroom by teachers, and we've done hybrid programs that we present live, and then they're available to view and do art activities along with afterwards. And our curator, Daniel Fulco, who you're going to meet shortly, in addition to working to rebuild an exhibition schedule that had collapsed, really, art shipping ground to a halt. And so loans weren't able to happen and everything was incredibly uncertain. But he began a series of programs. He began the Curator's Den, which is a video program you can find on our website and YouTube channel. He also began producing a short essay every 2 weeks for our email list on a highlighted work of art. And sometimes, actually, almost every time, we get some sort of fan mail. And I use this one because I wanted to highlight the work that this museum has been doing in diversity, equity, access, and inclusion. When I took the job, I felt that programmatically and philosophically, this museum had already started doing the work that so many organizations are jumping on and trying to catch up with right now. We frequently shine the spotlight on diverse artists and cultures. We're trying to diversify in other ways. We frequently shine, as I've said that, sorry, that's what happens when you read. This is a study for a mural in a recreation center that was, I think, intended to be in Detroit. And it really reflects the idealism of the 70s. You see all these different kinds of people playing together. And I thought that the woman who wrote the fan mail was absolutely right on here. This is what we need to be doing as a nation with our neighbors and others in our community with whom we could form new relationships. And I'm so glad she felt compelled to write that to us. Little more, there's Jan Brett again on the right, and here is our group of Jillian and Kelly and myself and Daniel doing Let's Talk Art. We started it in September. It's a monthly talk show that we present live and record and post on social media, our website, our YouTube page. It's part of our ever expanding library of digital content. And on the right, Jan Brett on that laptop. Hundreds were on that live stream, as I mentioned before, and the recording has now had over 2,500 views. People just loved it. And a quick, just a list of the exhibitions we did. Celebrating 100 Years of Women Artists, which was planned to coincide with the 100th anniversary of the 20th Amendment. It was remade. Many of the loans had been unavailable, and the exhibition was staged with works from our own collection, as well as close by lenders who were willing to mask up and deliver their artworks. Seldom Seen was a fun, eclectic look at a cross-section of our collection, from an Egyptian amulet to an illuminated manuscript page. It also featured new research and attributions, and it was entirely curated during our weeks of closure. The World of Jan Brett was our first incoming traveling show after COVID, and there were strict delivery protocols for that. We often try to select exhibitions that dovetail with the needs of elementary students, and this was a perfect choice for young students and families. And then after Seldom Seen, we had an old master print show featuring 7 Rembrandts. That was the Dutch Golden Age prints by Rembrandt and his contemporaries. And just about a week ago, we wrapped up Cumberland Valley artists and photographers exhibitions for this year. So I'm going to go back to some metrics. As much as we talk about changing one person's life, we can measure things. And here's a bird's eye view of our YouTube channel with 42 new videos created since May with over 2,400 new views. That does not include people who watch them through our website or Facebook, where we also usually post links. And then I made a sort of dashboard of numbers, some of which are connected to each other and some of which aren't. And I want to be fast because I don't want to keep you here all night, but the number of new sort of programs and series we created for online is 8. So that's like the Art a Day challenge, of which you can see in the next box, 75 of them were done. So Let's Talk Art is one of the 8, and we've done 6 or 7 of those now. And there's a whole bunch of other things. 60 art kits were distributed to the Bester Community of Hope after school enrichment program. That was, I think, 30 kids, but they did art pickups twice so that the materials were a little more well organized. We have, whoops, this is sensitive. Number of students who did come here through online field trips, 201. That doesn't count those who participated in video streams, Jan Brett, other kinds of things we've done. Those were just, sort of video field trips to the museum. We had adults who did fee-based drawing classes. There's the actual Jan Brett number. Oh, I mixed up my kids. So 201 were the school students served in our online art education, like Saturday morning youth program, polished and prime portfolios, and 291 is the school kids. These are great numbers, I think, too. 550 people is the average number who open the featured artwork emails, and 600 is the average number of people who open the monthly Curator's Den email. You see some other things here: Facebook reach, website users, dollars raised through the treasure sale. I want to give a shout out to Royce Faddis and Vicki Marshner, who were co-chairs for that fundraiser, which went online this year, and also virtual Amazing Tablescapes. It was hard to imagine how something like Tablescapes could be successful online, but Candy Douglas and Vicki Byer, with a lot of help from staff like Wallace Lee and Jillian McMaster, ended up doing a really fabulous job, and I think we had a lot of fun with it. And then I do have what seems like a really big number there, the $470,000, that's over fiscal year 20 and 21. That's 10 different COVID relief grants from various agencies, the National Endowment for Humanities, PPP, the Arts Council, Washington County, the Heart of the Civil War Heritage Area. And if you can see, I have a little asterisk there at the bottom. That's why we could do all of this, because, because if we didn't have that help, like so many organizations, we would have wondered if we could have paid our staff. So it really kept people employed, and it kept the museum working. It kept us creative. It kept us serving the community. And we are incredibly grateful for that as we continue to go forward. So I am now going to toss things over here to Nancy Motherway, our business manager, and she's going to take you through a kind of bird's eye view of some of our finances.
Thank you, Sarah. We've been focusing on mission activities and how we've continued to serve our audience through the pandemic, but we do have a snapshot of financials for you. Our fiscal year 22 budget is in development, but here's a look at an important and yes, impressive statistic from fiscal year 2020. If you look at that, 86% of our annual budget was directly related to program services, which includes exhibitions, classes, collection care, public programs, and other aspects of our mission. Only 9% went to general administration and 5% to fundraising. We are a lean organization that accomplishes a great deal with a small staff and a dedicated group of volunteers. 2 PPP loans and an NEH CARES grant allowed us to keep staff fully employed throughout our closure and during these ongoing days of lost revenue from facility rentals, class registrations, event ticketing, and reduced retail sales. This slide breaks down the 86% of program services in the prior chart to a more detailed level. And if you see, 41% of the expenses were for exhibitions and programs. And this next pie chart clearly shows the significant impact that members and benefactors have on the overall budget. We appreciate that you are a partner in our work to keep the museum at the heart of our community. A diverse stream of funding is important to financial health, and local support encourages other granting institutions who understand that we are valued by our community and that our community does their part to invest in our work. Sarah?
Thanks, Nancy. I always want to give a little pause when we shift because you never know when the connection's actually going to pick up. So I appreciate everybody listening to all of this. I'm going to send it to Daniel, who is going to take us, I'll stop my screen share right now, and he will take us through some of the curatorial process for the year, and then we will have our exciting raffle. So let me spotlight Daniel. It's always tricky when you're kind of doing manning the slideshow, manning everything and talking. There's Daniel. Hi, Daniel.
Hello. Thank you, Sarah. I'm going to share my screen with everybody, and I am going to give you a virtual overview of curatorial activities that we accomplished for fiscal year 20. And boy, there were many of them. This was quite a challenging year, as Sarah was pointing out. And one thing that I'd like to begin with, there are going to be several categories. I'm going to start with acquisitions. But throughout this, despite all of the challenges, this has been a year of great learning for me and for my colleagues in terms of the hurdles of the pandemic, but also overcoming those hurdles and focusing on the collection and what aspects of our mission are key to delivering programming and interpretation. In fiscal year 20, we began the year with a gift of works from Dr. John and Mrs. Sylvia O'Brien. This is one selection from their gift, a beautiful Thomas Summerskill seascape of the coastline of Chile. And it's really one of my favorites that this couple donated to the museum. It has wonderful colors, and it makes such a great addition to our collection of marine subjects. And I'd like to point out as I go through these slides, this is all made possible by the generosity of our donors who are helping us to achieve our mission and expand our collections. And here we have a sculpture by Anna Hyatt Huntington, who's most famous at our museum for the Diana statue in the rotunda. But she also loved animals. And this was a piece donated by Jacqueline Alexander also last year of a descending jaguar. And it's really quite wonderful. Very small piece, just about this big, but really stupendous. And we hope to be able to display it in the future. In terms of representing world cultures, we have a diverse range of gifts from this past year, including from our dedicated volunteer, Roy Spadis, this really interesting bois plank mask from Burkina Faso, Africa, likely done in the 19th to 20th centuries, with bright colors and symbolism reflecting different tribes in this West African country, their beliefs and ritualistic practices. And we hope that we may be able to present this with some of the other African objects in the museum. Through the generosity of Mike Merson, and Sarah had showed you a slide last time of the beautiful Paradise Birds vase, the art glass piece. The same donor gave us a beautiful print by Howard Norton Cook called Towers, and a work by woman artist Shelby Shackelford called Seascape, who is an artist who worked in Baltimore and Cook in New York City, as well as in the Southwest for part of his career, thereby expanding our holdings of mid-20th century art. And from another dedicated individual, a donor, and also a member of our Singer Society, Mr. John Miller, he helped us to expand our holdings of French works on paper, in this case, an excellent pencil and chalk drawing on paper of a landscape scene, showing shepherds and shepherdesses with ancient ruins. In addition to acquisitions, we made some strides in conservation, another key aspect of curatorial work at the museum. Thanks to a $5,000 grant from the Stuart Houston Charitable Trust, which is located outside of Philadelphia, we were able to conserve 2 old master paintings. And it is our hope that we may be able to present these in the future as well, in changing installations in the galleries. This one done by an artist named Cornelius Dekker, a Dutch interior that had not fared so well during its life, but we brought it back to life. These photos here show you some of the process of the conservation. They were brought to Maryland Art Conservation in Baltimore, where conservator Heather Smith went to work on these and worked real magic until we ended up with the final result here, consolidating the paint loss and removing those years of grime, restoring the work to how it might have originally appeared. She did the same with another work that was donated by Mr. Stuart Houston to the museum in 1953. And that's how we formed this partnership with the Houston Trust, was through this donor's descendant, who is today the president of the trust. This one, a Roman painting, probably by the workshop of Benedetto Luti of St. Michael. And the results were amazing. Again, really making it vivid in its colors and having it come back to life. We hope to put this out in an installation connected to an exhibition that I'm going to tell you about in a little bit. And from there, we move into exhibitions, starting with what kicked off last summer in the new fiscal year then, of an exhibition called 1920 to 2020, celebrating 100 years of women artists. And this featured a broad range of works, both from Europe and America, and drawn almost entirely from our collection, but with some key loans, including African-American artists like Elizabeth Catlett with her wonderful bust here of this woman, artists such as Kitta Kovitz, and lesser known artists, but equally very interesting, Emily Clayton Bishop and Natalie McDonald Hall. And on the right here, we have the famous artist working from the 1960s and 70s, Marisol, with her work, The English Are Coming, a really large drawing. This exhibition was really stupendous, and it highlighted the importance of the passage of the 19th Amendment in 1920. And so we decided to commemorate this occasion by drawing upon our collections, diving into them. In a similar vein, in Seldom Seen, which occurred from last summer through the fall, we, as Sarah mentioned before, pulled together a show that ranged from Egyptian artifacts like you see here of a Shabti figurine all the way to Vladislav Franz Benda, to a scroll painting from the Qing dynasty of the goddess Guanyin over here. These are 2 Qing dynasty bells, Jing Tai, cloisonné specifically, and also a portrait by Augustus Vincent Tack of Helen Keller. So it was a real um, pulling together of all the strengths in our collection, diving into this. And this exhibition took shape in part from the virtual programming that we conducted, including docent training sessions where we were looking at different aspects of Asian art and works from ancient civilizations. And using that as a basis, engaging with our volunteers, our docents, to create this exhibition, at least the basis for it. Then in the fall, we were hosting the Dutch Golden Age, Prints by Rembrandt and his Contemporaries, which was organized and circulated by the Reading Public Museum, a longtime collaborator with us. You may remember their exhibitions in the past. And this brought together prints by Rembrandt and his contemporaries, etchings and engravings, showing us the interpersonal world of this great artist and his contemporaries, which were just outstanding in terms of their contrasts of light and dark, but also showing us daily life in the 17th century world of the Dutch Republic. From that, we had a spin-off mini exhibition that you can still see in the gallery corridor, which is right off the lobby when you come into the museum, in which we again dove into the collections. And this time we are featuring Dutch and Flemish masters. And these may look familiar to you from the Curator's Den videos, as well as the weekend art emails that have gone out over the last months. So this has been an outstanding opportunity for me to conduct new research on the collection. And also I was assisted in all of these endeavors with my good colleague, Audrey Scanlon-Teller. We were able to feature the Jan Brett exhibition that was mentioned here, assembled by the National Center for Children's Illustrated Literature that spanned the fall and the winter. And these were really wonderful illustrations derived from Jan's most famous children's books, featuring these loving works of art depicting polar bears and other animals. Then we had the Cumberland Valley Artists and Photographers exhibitions that were expertly managed by Kay Palmatier, and they featured works by both regional artists and artists from around the country. And this was very successful, and we had two fabulous drawers for this show recently off the walls. And just around the corner is a virtual presentation of the Washington County Public Schools annual art exhibition. And note there that it's going to feature winners that will be displayed in the museum's Kaler atrium from May 14 to June 8 of this year. So stay tuned for that one. It's always a favorite. And this one is being handled by Kelly Mealy, and you will be hearing more from her about it. Now we move to a preview of some of the exciting exhibitions that are on the horizon. Most notably our Joshua Johnson exhibition. And here I'm going to give you just a brief preview of what's to come in store with this show. It features works that are drawn primarily from several lenders. The Maryland Center for History and Culture in Baltimore, formerly known as Maryland Historical Society, is loaning 9 works from their collection. They have the largest collection of Joshua Johnson paintings in the world, in fact, and we are so pleased to be collaborating with them on this. We also thank the National Endowment for the Arts, as well as the Art Dealers Association of America Foundation, and all of our other private donors and sponsors who have helped to make this exhibition possible. This is the title sign. It's going to become familiar for those of you who can come in and see the museum. And I'm going to go through briefly and show you some of the highlights from this. I should mention that we have a scholarly and illustrated catalog that will be for sale in the museum shop and hopefully also on our website, that is authored by me, as well as David Taft Terry, professor at Morgan State University, and Mark Letzer, president and CEO of the Maryland Center for History and Culture. This is going to be produced very soon, so right around the corner. The basis for this exhibition comes from our 2 Joshua Johnson portraits of the Yo family members. These 2 paintings have been in the collection for some number of years, since the mid-1990s, and it was they that gave inspiration to, that gave rise to this fabulous show that's going to open on Saturday. In the exhibition, you will learn how Joshua Johnson absorbed many of the styles and techniques of his contemporaries, particularly artist Charles Peel Polk, who worked literally right around the corner from Johnson in early 19th century Baltimore. And you can see how he absorbed some of those different conventions, particularly in this portrait, though not in the exhibition. It shows nicely that connection of the use of hand gestures as well as clothing. The James McCormick family, which is an outstanding group portrait, one of the most significant in Johnson's career, will be on view in the Grow Gallery. and it is a tour de force of his work, known for many a year. The loan that comes from the furthest afield and that is very significant is Johnson's portrait of a man, likely the minister Abner Coker, which is coming down from Bowdoin College Museum of Art in Brunswick, Maine. And this is one of two paintings done by Joshua Johnson to depict an African American that still survives. The other example I'll show you in a few minutes is over in Bath, England. Also, we have two key loans from the Baltimore Museum of Art. In this case, a painting called In the Garden of this unidentified little girl. It's really quite an intriguing painting. The exhibition is going to tell you about different kinds of flower symbolism, as well as the use of insects that Joshua Johnson worked with in his producing these likenesses. This is the other painting, the only other one of an African-American surviving, though not in the exhibition, it is pictured in the book, and it will be in the wall labels. And what we are going to learn about in this is how Johnson may have interacted with and been part of the African-American community in late 18th and early 19th century Baltimore. And stay tuned for an exciting discussion next week with the catalog authors of Let's Talk Art next Thursday, the 22nd, in which we're going to explore this further. You saw this on the cover of the exhibition catalog. It's Rebecca Myring Everett and her children, Johnson's last known group portrait. Another one that's a tour de force in his work with bright colors, truly outstanding. In order to fill out the cultural and historical context of Johnson and his times, we have several landscapes in the exhibition. This one also loaned by MCHC of George Beck, a view of Baltimore from Howard Park. Works drawn from our collection include this one by John Rosen Smith, showing the city in the early 1820s as Johnson would have seen it. And on the left-hand side is his advertisement, which will also be pictured in the exhibition, in which he states his qualifications and speaks of his artistic abilities. And as you can see here, referring to himself as a self-taught genius. So you'll learn about that as we go through. To show how his contemporaries worked, we have on view a work attributed to his contemporary working in Baltimore, Frederick Kemmelmeyer, and then also two works attributed to the artist David Boudon, who is a Baltimore miniaturist, in this portrait of a woman. In order to show the different kinds of artistic exchange and the mutual influences on Johnson, we have a show also in the Grow Gallery at the far end called Face to Face, Portraits from the 18th and 19th Centuries, that will be opening soon, and features works by artists that Johnson would have known, including the artist John Wollaston, this work of Lady Randolph, for example. It will also feature other folk portraits, this one by William Joseph Williams of a portrait of a young lady, and several miniatures, one attributed to the famous artist Angelica Kaufmann, an important Swiss woman artist of the late 18th century, just a lovely painting, and then Raphael Peale's portrait of Anthony Slater, also a favorite and very important to show the connection between Johnson and members of the Peale family. Now we turn our attention to another exhibition that's going to be opening this summer and about which all of us are really excited, Bernini and the Roman Baroque, which is organized by Global Project Consulting in Rome, Italy, and is toured by international art and artists in Washington, D.C. This is a really special show. What it does is it shows the influence of the great sculptor, architect, and also painter and stage designer, John Lorenzo Bernini. And the works come from the Palazzo Chigi in Aricia, Italy, which is located about 60 miles southeast of Rome in the Alban Hills. This is the first time we've been able to present such an extensive exhibition of Old Master paintings since the Old Masters exhibition held at the museum in 1964. So we are very enthusiastic about this. Just to sort of show you very briefly where this is coming from, it's just about here in these mountains southeast of Rome on the Italian peninsula. And this is a view of the town of Aricia, with the chapel designed by Bernini, as well as the palazzo, which he designed for members of the Chigi family. The exhibition is also going to introduce you to artistic activity occurring within Bernini's Rome. Really very exciting. And here are here's one portrait on the left of Bernini, and then on the right, an engraving that is part of the exhibition itself. Bernini, as you may know, is really an outstanding sculptor, one of the greatest artists of the entire 17th century and perhaps even beyond that, with his Rape of Persephone that's in the Villa Borghese in Rome, to give you a sense of that. He's also famous for his Ecstasy of St. Teresa, and in this case, creating art that was meant to reflect the ideology, the principles, and the teachings of the Catholic Counter-Reformation, something that he did similar to the renowned artist Caravaggio, who worked earlier in Rome. Here are some of Bernini's famous monument redesignings. The Piazza San Pietro in Rome, which Bernini designed. He was an outstanding architect. And then the view of St. Peter's Square here. Two portraits, one of him in his youth and then in his old age, are featured in the exhibition, as well as portraits of the renowned Chigi family on the left. Cardinal Flavio Chigi, the nephew of Pope Alexander VII, also a Chigi. And then here we have another one of his family members, Virginia Chigi Piccolomini. So you'll be able to observe the influence that Bernini had on these artists, and particularly the introduction of theatricality and creating works of art that really pull you in, that bring biblical and mythological narratives to life. Several works by Bernini and his collaborators that are featured include this medal of Pope Alexander VII, whom I mentioned before, as well as this adornment for black velvet carriage, all from the mid-17th century. There will be paintings such as Domenico Fetti's The Suicide of Cleopatra, drawn from antiquity, and this fabulous Carlo Maratti, and with his collaborator Mario Nuzzi, an allegory of summer, which is a tour de force of Baroque painting. With outstanding color, it combines both portraiture as well as still life in one image, in addition to acknowledging classical mythology. You will see the works of outstanding French artists who worked down in Rome and came under the influence of Bernini and who collaborated with him, such as Borgognone's Agar and Ismael from the Old Testament, and a late mystical work by Bernini and Borgognone called De Sanguis Christi, or the Blood of Christ, a study for an altarpiece. We also have Giacinto Brandi and his lot and his daughters, with outstanding color and attention to anatomy and detail. This presents an excellent opportunity while Bernini is on view for you to compare certain works with similar subjects, for example, to pieces we have on view in the Schreiber Gallery, such as Fiasella and Leghi's lot and his family being led from Sodom, which may be familiar to you, which I show on the right here. We'll also feature other artists who were trained by Bernini, such as Baciccio. This is outstanding St. Andrew on the left, and a really fabulous self-portrait on the right. And to wrap things up, oil sketches for larger artistic commissions, particularly ceiling frescoes. In this case, another Baciccio, and his contemporary, the Jesuit Andrea Pozzo, a study for an illusionistic dome. So with that, I'm going to turn it back to Sarah.
Whoops, so I was muted. I'm going to say about two more things, and then I'm going to get the raffle started. One thing I wanted to say is I skipped on my script. I really wanted to give a shout out to our Washington County Public Schools apprentice, Ariana Marriott, and she's been helping us learn TikTok. She's been working with our education and marketing assistant, setting up our TikTok account and coming up with really fun ideas for TikTok videos. And also our intern, Peyton Brown, who, if you go on our YouTube page, you will see that even though she had an internship during a pandemic when she could barely be around other people, she created wonderful step-by-step art videos based on some of the Art a Day challenges so that people can kind of watch her go through it and emulate. So I think that's really great work that made a huge contribution, and we were so glad we had their help. And now I am going to introduce Elle Martin. He is a past board president. He's a member of our finance committee, and he is the raffle master extraordinaire. So I'm going to put the spotlight on Elle, and he's going to take over.
Sarah, thank you so much. It's been an exciting year for the Art Museum in spite of the pandemic. So congratulations to you and the staff for just a tremendous year. And what a way to wrap up the year as we get ready to start a new one here with our annual raffle. And I'm so excited. It's hard to believe this is the 17th year that we have done this raffle. It's been a challenging year. but thank you to all of our dedicated volunteers. I want to make a shout out to our co-chairs, Ashley Nota Bertalo and Carrie Strong, who's with us this evening. And I just want to share thanks to all of our volunteers that sold raffle tickets. Believe it or not, in spite of this pandemic, our raffle results, I'm pleased to announce the results, and this goes right up to just moments before our annual meeting started. It's the third highest, I'll just say, achievement that we've had in selling raffle tickets. So let me just share a couple highlights. The most tickets sold, and she's a regular. God bless her for hanging in there with us year after year. Teresa Barr was our top ticket seller. Our total tickets sold this year were almost 3,000. It was 2,875 tickets, and hopefully you can see in one of our videos that we're shooting live right now from the art room here at the Art Museum. We have the drum that we use every year for this, and we have all 2,875 tickets in the drum. We are socially distancing here this evening. Carrie Strong will be pulling the tickets while he's here with us to make sure that we're being honest and that we are going through the process there and supervising our efforts this evening. And I just want to, before we start the drawing, just announce the total raised this year is $22,600. So let's give a big round of applause there to everyone. And thank you to Carrie and Ashley, to Wally. And I also want to make a shout out to Donna Rastelli, our staff person. You know, she's been on Lou Scally at WJJ talking about this. And I saw an email blast this afternoon that we were still accepting money right up until we closed the doors here at 4 o'clock this evening. So thank you to everyone that's made this possible. Now on to the drawing. And I am going to screen share the prizes so that you can actually go along with us and see what we have here with our various prize lists. So let me get that up here. And can everyone see this here? We will go down here at the bottom and start there and then go up to the top prize, which is the necklace from R. Bruce Carson. So we'll start with the first raffle drawing. This is a gift shop certificate for $100 to our Museum of Fine Arts gift shop located right here in the lobby of the Art Museum. It's available anytime the museum is open. Just let a staff person know if you'd like to browse or purchase something there. And as an added bonus, if you're a museum member, you have a discount, an automatic discount of 10% off anything in there, the museum books, catalogs, note cards, jewelries, and accessories. So the winner of the $100 gift certificate this year is Kathy Oliver. So we will, in case we have people's contact information and email address and phone number, so we will let everyone know of their winning the prize in case they're not with us this evening. Our next very special prize is from one of our own local vineyards and wineries. If you haven't been there, you need to check out Big Cork. We have a special wine tasting for 4 with a value of $105. The special seated tasting includes 6 different wines that are a combination of their special release and library wines, and barrel tastings with your own keepsake logo glass. And the winner of this prize is, oh my goodness, it's Bruce Wilder. That's right in his neighborhood too. So very exciting there. Congratulations, Bruce. This next one is something that anyone can enjoy. It's the America the Beautiful annual park pass and a gas card with a value of $130. Experience any of our 2,000 natural and historic and cultural sites in the United States with this America the Beautiful pass. This is national parks, recreational lands, and it's good for 1 year unlimited access for you and everybody in your personal vehicles at any site that charges a vehicle fee for up to 4 adults at any site. And the winner of this annual pass for 1 year is Karen Teach. So congratulations, Karen. Our next prize is a private lesson for 2 with a local golf pro, David Gear, value of $160. He's the head professional at Yinglings Golf Center. Yinglings, I believe, is located on Jefferson Boulevard and provides a fun golf experience. He's been there for over 30 years. And Dave, with 25 years of experience, will get you swinging like a pro. He was recently voted the Mid-Atlantic PGA Junior Golf Leader and recognized as one of the top 10 teachers in Maryland. So this is something special. If you want to learn to play golf, this is the way to do it. And our prize winner here is Barbara Bunkard, and here in Hagerstown. So we will make sure she is aware of the prize. And if you're not a golfer or any of these prizes, if you for whatever reason decide that it's not something you can use, these are giftable and transferable. So, please keep that in mind. Everyone's a winner, whatever it is. Our next one is something I know we've had a lot of interest in, and it is a kayak, a Sun Dolphin Aruba kayak. It's a 10-foot sit-in jade-colored kayak worth $200. And it's your private way to get away. You don't need to wear a mask when you're out there enjoying the quiet waters. And this kayak was donated by our board president, Roger Fairborn. And oh my goodness, it looks like our winner here is someone down on the river in Shepherdstown. Looks like it's the Mills family. So Susan Mills, yeah. Be sure to make sure that you learn how to paddle so you don't go downstream too far. Our next prize here, and it looks like I'm getting a pop-up there, so I apologize. Here we go. Explore the endless possibilities of working with clay. Our local sculptor, and he's very talented, Steve Wright, the Right Hand Studio, a value of $210. It's a 7-week adult session taught by local artist Steve Wright, including your own 25-pound bag of clay, glazing and firing. You will learn how to use the clay and make your own delightful things. You'll learn both wheel and hand techniques and a clean, fun community environment. So the winner of this prize is Liz Creel, and we will make sure she's aware of winning this one. Now, something very special, and for those that have never been behind the scenes in the museum, this private museum exhibition tour for 5 with a value of $250, hosted by our own brand new Museum of Fine Art Director, Sarah Hall. And Sarah will give you an exciting tour to be provided sometime this summer from July 1st to September 18th, highlighting our featured exhibitions. So to learn more about the Bernini and the Roman Baroque exhibition that Daniel was just talking about, and our Joshua Johnson portraits of early American Baltimore, you'll get to hear special insights and a private curated tour, and you might even see some other behind the scenes in the museum. We are truly blessed here to have a collection of over 6,500 works of art, and this museum and learning about it truly is a treasure. And the prize winner on this wonderful prize is Marty Amarin, and we will make sure they are aware of winning this great prize with Sarah, the private escorted tour. This next one is something from the Bella Salon and Spa. It's an Amore gift package worth $260. Enjoying a 60-minute dermalogic skincare treatment, a 60-minute signature massage, a spa pedicure, and a spa manicure. It just is something that is very special to pamper yourself there. So their vision is always to be an inspiration to the guests and always be a leader in the spa and salon industry. So the winner of this prize, oh my goodness, is uh, Jerry Spesser. So we will make sure they are aware of that. Congratulations. And now here is something really special, and we guarantee you'll enjoy this. It's an eyewitness to history stay and tour, a value of $325. Since 1804, in the heart of historic Sharpsburg, Maryland, a wonderful bed and breakfast at the Antietam battlefield, the Jacob Burback Inn. It is a special stay. Guests will enjoy a delicious 2-course country-style breakfast served each morning. As a part of this special offer, the guests will also get a complimentary 3-hour tour. And unlike the sea tour that the castaways took at Gilligan's Island, this is on the battlefield, so you don't have to worry about getting lost. We guarantee you will come back. And I think they have stopped firing there a long time ago, so no one will be shot during the private escorted tour. It will be done by professionals through the National Park Service and a certified Antietam battlefield guide. And the winner of that special package is Joe D. Westfall, and we will make sure they are aware of that very special tour of our wonderful premier local, national, historic battlefield and national park. And something very special, I always enjoy these prizes because they relate to the art of what we're all about here with the mission of the Museum of Fine Arts. We have a Kent Roberts original watercolor. Well known for his beautiful, dramatic, award-winning watercolors, he also does caricatures, watercolor pet portraits, fine art painting, and his work is part of many private and corporate collections, has appeared in national magazines and on TV shows such as Everybody Loves Raymond, Third Rock from the Sun, and VH1's pop-up videos. So the winner of our Kent Roberts original watercolor is, oh my goodness, Denise Hunt. Congratulations, yay. Now we're getting up to cash, the pot of gold, $550. And I don't need to go into a lot of description on this, but the winner of this wonderful prize will have $550 cash. And that winner is, we're getting it tabulated here. Oh my goodness. It is Candace Capsaver, I think. I apologize if I butchered your name, but we will let them know that they won the $550 cash. Carpenter, excuse me. I'm a bit challenged here, and Carrie lent me her magnifiers. I left mine at home, unfortunately, when it came down here. So hopefully I'm not butchering anybody's name too badly. Candace Carpenter, thank you. Okay, thank you for clarifying that, Wally. Okay, this next one, if you've never been up in a small plane, it is something that is truly a once-in-a-lifetime experience. And this next prize is from the Hagerstown Aviation Museum, which is in the old Fairchild manufacturing plant. But it includes a flight, a 30-minute aerial tour in an original 1943 Fairchild PT-19 trainer. Now, this is an open cockpit plane with the pilot driving and a second seat that you might be able to use the controls if you dare, but it was designed to have 2 people train in the plane. During one of the museum's open airplane afternoon events, while they have the plane prepped and prepared and ready to go, a Wings and Wheels Expo or by appointment, the ride is a 30-minute aerial tour of the Hagerstown area and local points of interest selected by the certificate holder. So whoever wins this can decide to have them fly anywhere they want out of the airport within a 30-minute time. They want to make sure they don't run out of gas and see whatever you want. And I had an opportunity to have a friend of mine take me over my house in downtown Hagerstown and many other things. It truly is a unique experience. And the winner of this, and she will love it, I'm sure, is our own Connie Manger. So congratulations, Connie. Yay. And our last top prize of the evening is our Bruce Carson prize. It's a value of $600. It's a beautiful, stunning 14-karat white gold topaz, blue topaz, and diamond necklace donated by our Bruce Carson Jewelers. Since 1902, Carson Jewelers has been offering premier and excellent quality, a large selection of beautiful jewelry, gemstones, watches, and other things. They are just such a friendly and knowledgeable staff. And, you know, if you have any special needs, I highly recommend their services. We have used them for years for watch repair and jewelry resizings and all kinds of special custom work. So our winner of this year's Carson necklace is Judy Fisher. So congratulations, Judy. That concludes our raffle for the year. And again, many thanks to everyone. If you missed out this year, please tell your friends about what a great opportunity is. And again, thank you all. A record year of support for the museum, our third highest, results altogether. And in 17 years, this raffle has raised for the Art Museum over $300,000, a total of $310,000, including this year's $22,600. So congratulations to everyone, and thank you for continuing to help make our museum such a treasure and a wonderful place that it is. And with that, I will turn it back to Sarah, I believe.
I'm unmuting. You may be able to see me small because I think we still have Elle's screen share on.
Okay, let me stop screen sharing.
Okay. That was terrific, Elle. What did you do DJing or MCing in your past? You have a gift.
Oh, well, thank you. No, I just my old JC training from years ago. Act enthusiastic and be enthusiastic.
Well, I loved it. It was really fun. It made the evening. We gotta give you the script for the art next time and let you take care of that.
Thank you. I even wore my bow tie tonight.
I just want to say thanks to everyone who was on this call. I really wanted a concluding slide that listed the board, all the board and all the staff. And then I want, the board of advisors. And finally, it's kind of impossible to put everybody's name there, but it has been a very warm welcome in this community for me. And I want to say that if you stuck through this program and you're not a member of the museum, please join us. You'll enrich your own life while supporting the work of the museum, and you'll help us come out of this pandemic stronger and ready to have an even greater regional impact. So thanks everyone for being with us tonight, and go forth and visit the museum.
Yeah.